throw them into a spot where anyone can grab them. Like, obviously they need to not be there.
Welcome in, guys. I'm JRX26. This is my better looking other half, Divinity.
Hello, hello.
So we're fairly new to Final Fantasy XIV. We're not new to MMOs. We are longtime MMO veterans. We've played pretty much every MMO that's been out there, all going all the way back to the original EverQuest 1. We hardcore raided, we led raids, we ran guilds, we did like the whole shebang all the way up till now. We just recently finished Heavensward expansion of Final Fantasy XIV. So this is just our thoughts and our review of how the Heavensward expansion played out and how we felt it was. Was it better than A Realm Reborn? Also, in case you're wondering, I did do a review of ARR and I'll link that video below if you'd like to take a look at that. So we just completed Heavensward, and so here's our thoughts about the expansion.
Yeah, so one thing that I will say is that, in my opinion, I feel like Final Fantasy really amped up its storytelling, like between Heavensward and post Heavensward journey. Like, I feel like
Definitely.
Yeah, like the quest lines really grew. I think during Heavensward, one thing that was a little bit choppy feeling was that they really spent a lot of time telling stories of individual characters, and in post Heavensward, I definitely feel like all of the different character lines, storylines started to really come together. So I thought that that was a really amazing thing to see.
Yeah, definitely. And I also felt the story was very consistently
Yes.
good throughout the whole thing, as
It
opposed
was.
to a lot of fetch quests, a lot
Yeah.
of, I mean, there's definitely world building and stuff, but like it took a while in ARR, felt for it to really kind of converge and really
For sure.
solidify the story, and you get a feeling of what's going on and that sort of thing. And I felt it was just very consistent all the way through with
Definitely.
with great storytelling, the stepping up a level of the storytelling.
Yeah, I feel too they did a really good job helping you feel like kind of build emotional bonds to each of the characters.
Big time. Yeah.
And that was something that was a lot more impactful, I think, than how Final Fantasy started out. Like, it definitely, you felt like a much more like stronger emotional connection to a lot of the characters that you're interacting with.
Definitely. Yeah, I would say towards the end of ARR, you started getting that development, that connection, and I didn't expect that, because most MMOs,
Neither.
there's NPCs, there's some people that have story, but you're not really interacting with them a lot. Like, they're kind of in the
Yeah.
background. You know their story a little bit sometimes, but these ones are like your buddies. You end
Yeah.
up knowing them, their background, they're helping you end up building a bond and relationship.
Yeah.
And I feel that got stepped up in Heavensward big time.
I think too there was a lot of the characters, like the bonds you built with them were almost dualistic. Like, some started off
Yeah.
with you thinking that they're a bad
Yeah.
guy, or they're definitely going to be the villain of
Definitely.
the story, but it turned out to be that they weren't that way.
Yes.
So showing how people kind of had the yin and yang, like the good and the bad to the attributes to their character.
Yes,
like that was
definitely.
something that came across strong.
So now you're always questioning. Anytime you meet someone, it's like, are they good? Are they bad?
Yeah.
Whose side are they on? Like,
Exactly.
are they gonna die? Should I get the bond with them or not? Like,
Yeah.
like, should I emotionally
Should I
connect
let
with this
myself
character? Should I
attach?
put up
Yep.
a wall? Yeah.
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
The other thing I felt that Heavensward really stepped up on, which again was just starting to get good at the end of Heavensward, is the other MMO elements of the game, like the dungeons, the trials, the alliance raids. I just thought that in general they were much better standard, and really kind of blowing me away at some of them. I was really getting into it, and that's my favorite kind of content in any MMO anyway, is the group content, and I thought it just took what the end of ARR kind of established and just took it up another notch.
Yeah, no, I agree. It definitely built content very quickly across all different areas of MMOs. Like, definitely added a lot of group content. I'm amazed by how many dungeons there are.
Oh my god, just
the raids
unbelievable
are
amount.
so fun. Like, everything about the game is just really fun. And as it goes, it seems to become more and more challenging and add in new dynamics, which is really
New mechanics
amazing.
and stuff like that.
For sure.
In general, it took me a while to see this, and I say towards the end of ARR is when I started to really get into rhythm of what Final Fantasy XIV is as an MMO.
Yeah.
And you could see that what it is really is it's a Final Fantasy game. And like, I didn't get that in the beginning. Like, you come in expecting it to be an MMO, and it's not an MMO, it's a Final Fantasy game. It's like it's almost like a JRPG first with MMO mechanics kind of around it. In other words, the story, the character building, the world building, and all that stuff. And again, in Heavensward, I think it just really took that up a notch and really kind of hooked me now to the story, you know, as opposed to just the MMO. But then as you start falling in love with the story and the characters and stuff, the MMO elements start getting really good. And I feel like they do things different than other MMOs. They kind of focus on different things. They focus on how epic the spell effects are and the fighting abilities and the bosses of the dungeons and the story supporting and surrounding the dungeons and the trials and the raids. And you don't see a whole lot of that really being center of attention in other MMOs, and I'm really enjoying it.
Yeah, I think for me, I came in a bit of a step behind you, because while I've played video games starting with Nintendo,
you've seen me play a lot of Final Fantasy games.
I saw you playing Final Fantasy games, but I never really played Final Fantasy games myself, so
you didn't even know what to expect.
No, I didn't know what to expect, and my draw to the game was like a little bit different, and I think it lagged a little bit behind because I'm kind of learning to love Final Fantasy in this process, whereas like I think you came in loving Final Fantasy and had to like draw the connections in your mind.
And I didn't realize that's what it was. Like I was expecting MMO, and what I got was it took a while to me realize, oh, this is a Final Fantasy game first.
Yeah.
MMO second.
Yep, and yeah, for myself, like I'm all about the murder. So I love like hack and slash and killing things.
Yeah.
Like kind of trying
like
to
the dungeons and
so trying to like let myself kind of immerse into the story has been a new adventure for me, and definitely something that I love. Like I'm definitely connecting with this game on a whole different level, just based on the fact that the story is so amazing and that I am so like emotionally invested in all of the characters and in the direction that it's going in. Like that whole thing is really new to me, because for me, I think the first game I ever played that I really enjoyed the story for was Guild Wars, but it was more active storytelling. Where you're kind of
different type
experiencing the story as it goes.
Yeah.
But this is really the first game where I've really been able to like invest in the storytelling aspect.
And the characters.
So, yeah, and becoming attached to the characters and really like intrigued by what will happen next and what's going to develop next.
Yeah, so another thing that I was just shocked upon with Heavensward compared to ARR is just the sheer amount of plot lines and story arcs going on. Like at some points it was hard to track all the damn things, and then you're doing some parts of the story, and then like you jump to other parts, and then there's more other story arcs going on. I'm like, my God, what is going on? Like, what's happening with this character, and what's going on this, and like, oh, the Archbishop's doing this, and then we got Sir Amric, and I was like, it was unbelievable. I just got ambushed, I feel like, with the amount of story arcs and the amount of stuff going on. And then seeing it towards the end, a lot of them all kind of converging together and being resolved, some still not being resolved, and learning new things and thinking some ones were going to be resolved and not, and other ones were that I didn't think were, and just I feel like you can't guess what's going to happen next, basically.
Yeah, it literally went from, I think one of the things that was a little bit difficult in the beginning of my Final Fantasy journey was that it just seemed like so many individual storylines and so many individual paths, and I had a hard time understanding what was important. And then it quickly evolved into this huge, elaborate spider web of amazing storylines. And I can't wait to like revisit each one as they start to come along. And to your point, yeah, I agree. You're constantly wondering like what's going to happen next and which storyline's going to evolve next.
I mean, just off the top of our head, some of the things we find out, the Sultana's not dead.
Oh, God.
Just shocked me, right? Like
very shocking, yes.
Where there's the whole Dragon Song War going on in Ishgard, and like the history about it, and you get tidbits and flashbacks and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
The whole drama with Lady Iceheart going on, and is she bad? Is she good? And she ends up being good, and then like you kind of like have a bond with her, and then she dies
and then
on
she's
you.
Gone.
And it's like,
yep.
Then they have Stinian and coming out, an amazing character, and I was like, my God, I love this guy. But then he's also kind of like edgy, and oh man. Then there's the whole stuff with the Ascians still going on, the Garleans still back there in the Empire, and the stuff they're doing and worrying about. Then we're meeting the Archbishop. It's just from the get-go, I just got an icky feeling from this.
Yeah,
this
you
guy.
know he's not good. Like, you just know it.
And the dragons, and some are good, and some are bad, and their backstory, and then you find out what happened, that actually you feel like they've been attacking Ishgard and just rampaging, and then you find out they're being betrayed, and I feel like this is like the Game of Thrones expansion or something.
For
like
sure.
the amount of stuff going on, it was just insane.
Yeah,
the Warriors of Darkness, like the amount of things going on was just insane.
And
insane.
And I have to say, like, one thing that I still have a hard time getting past that was really impactful is dragon eyeballs. Like, they are the thing to have. Like, no matter what happens, you want a dragon eyeball.
Yeah.
Except maybe you don't,
and
because also
it
might turn you evil.
Yeah,
evil.
also don't
have
just
2 dragon eyeballs, because that's bad.
Also, don't just toss the 2 eyeballs into a cliff without knowing what's happening to the eyeballs. Yeah, we both were like sitting there when that happened, like, no, don't throw them into a spot where anyone can grab them. Like, obviously they need to not be there. Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, yes.
We find out that Ilberd is still betraying everybody, and like.
Of course.
So, do you have any dungeons that stood out to you?
Dungeons. Oh my gosh. So there's so many that it's
so many.
Really, really
so
hard.
Many. I feel like you don't get to revisit some of the good ones enough. I feel like.
Yeah, obviously. So I think I was completely unprepared for the vault.
Oh,
And like the ending of the vault, like I was not prepared.
God.
I did not know that was coming. It wasn't even on my radar.
So first of all, it's a great dungeon in itself.
Yeah, it's an amazing dungeon, but then I was like, we're gonna do a dungeon, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
And then I was just heartbroken and distraught. So.
And there's already got sense from all the people that kept going, oh, the vault's coming up next. I want to run this with you. Like, everyone wanted to like come with us to the vault. They kept pumping up the vault.
Yep.
I knew it was gonna be a good dungeon, and so my mindset was, wow, this dungeon's like, I can't wait for this good dungeon. And it was great. Yeah, and like you had the guys from Heavensward, like Super Saiyan and stuff like that, and then like
for sure.
Hotcherfont.
Oh
like,
God, that was terrible.
So bad, so bad.
It was terrible.
I felt like too. Like posted the video of our going through that part, and like I'm even saying it live in the video where like I feel like they're just purposely twisting the knife on you,
literally like just like trying to like rip your heart right out of your chest, throw it down, and then stomp on it.
You won't be needing this anymore.
Literally, they're like, yeah, no, we're
He's
just gonna
looking up
keep
at you
like
and,
stomping on your heart. That's what's gonna happen.
Yeah. A smile better suits a hero.
Jesus Christ.
It was so bad. Oh my God.
Oh, it was so sad.
Yeah. What a good guy, Hotcherfont. They make you fall in love. Now I don't want to like any characters.
No, I feel like the people you like the most are definitely going to die. Or at least you're going to think that they're dead for a good long while.
Yeah.
Like one of those 2 things.
So that was definitely up there as one of my favorite dungeons to date of all the dungeons. The Vault, the Airy with a Needhog fight. Another, I thought, amazing dungeon. One of my, I'd say probably from now, so far, those would be my top 2 dungeons that I've done in the game.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I definitely really enjoyed the aesthetic and the vibe of the library.
The library was also great. The library was the great global library, I think. That was fantastic too. Yeah, that's another one. Yeah.
Yep. And then of course I'm a vampire freak. I love all things vampire. So
you love Hawk Manor.
Of course I love Hawk Manor. It's like just go all the way back to the beginning.
Yeah, Hawk Manor is good.
It was like one of the first dungeons we did, and I was like, oh, this is my jam. I actually was, when we did that dungeon, I was telling Jerax, okay, so I'm going to buy this. It's going to be my house. I'm just going to move right in with the succubus. It's going to be fine.
Then I thought, was it Balser's wall where you end up, the guy, don't get sloppy.
Yes.
I thought the fight mechanics of that boss was some of the best dungeon boss fight mechanics.
For sure. It's so
far
like,
that we've had for a dungeon.
Yeah. It's
in Final Fantasy XIV.
Absolutely such an unique, I guess.
Yes.
A unique aspect of a dungeon. That, like,
and it was kind of fun too. You keep, don't be sloppy and all that, which is obviously now we find out it's a meme in the game.
And rightfully so.
So another one I want to mention quick is that another one that blew me away. So, it's funny too because we were getting people to come with us to do the alliance raids. So we decided we locked alliance raids. We've been purposely trying in each expansion, so for ARR and Heavensward, to make sure we're doing all the content before we move on. That's
For
in
sure.
it. We've been doing like stream trials. We did coils. So we wanted to lock the alliance raids, and so the alliance raids in ARR were great. I enjoyed them.
Yeah.
But got a group together. We pick up the quest, and like I didn't realize it was going to be half hour, 45 minutes before we
Oh my
hit
God.
the damn thing. People had to go to work and stuff, had to leave, and I'm like,
Yes.
I didn't realize there's just gonna be so much
So
story,
much content and so
to
much
the
story, yeah.
to the behind the Sky Pirates stuff, and I thought that would, to me, that was one of the best workups to content that I've experienced to date for that whole backstory. I thought was amazing, and again,
Yeah.
almost kind of had vampire-esque or like Lovecraftian kind of
Yes,
themes to it, and
absolutely.
like it was kind of dark and demony and
Yeah, it was so cool.
piratey and just so
All
much
of the
stuff,
things.
man. Comedy.
Yeah.
It was great. Yeah, so the triple triad trials, what was your thought on those? Like, I know you don't have the backstory of what the triple triad is in some of the other Final Fantasy games, which I do, and I love these throwbacks to these other Final Fantasy games. Like, such an endearing thing for me to like, wow, you get more backstory and stuff like that. But then I thought personally that the trials themselves were really cool and unique, and
Yeah, no, they were amazing. Like, definitely the uneven floors where you're like sliding off the edge of the world.
Yeah,
Like,
you're,
what
like,
the hell
running,
is that?
yeah.
I was like, oh, this is new. I don't know. And it definitely had a lot of really, really cool and like new dynamics that were challenging and exciting to be able to go through for the first time.
So I think that overall, if I was going to sum it up, that Heavensward took what was building on upon ARR and really solidified it, was just really consistent all the way through with fantastic story, fantastic world building, character building, the dungeons, all the MMO content just got stepped up to a better level and just was better. And I'm hooked. Divinity got me the Eorzean Encyclopedia, which I'm making sure I only read parts that are not
No
spoilery.
spoilers.
We're making sure not to watch
like
any
you have
kind
to
of content
restrain
that's
yourself.
spoilery. Yeah. So I've been reading.
sure.
Looks like the first one is safe for me, so I've been reading it. So I'm really loving it, and I'm gonna play it all the way through. Like, so how are you feeling overall with Heavensward?
Overall, I'm feeling 100% hooked too. Yeah, I think when I started playing Final Fantasy, I was still, I mean, I know we gave it a couple of tries and kind of came back and then decided that we were
We
dedicated
didn't make it
to
through
getting
ARR
it.
3 different times. We tried. We
Exactly,
played
yeah.
every MMO. I remember when
Yep.
it came out, I was so excited because I love Final Fantasy games, and we've played Final Fantasy XI. I played like almost every Final Fantasy numbered game, and absolutely like, you know,
Yep.
Final Fantasy VII is my favorite game of all time. And I remember just being let down by A Realm Reborn, and just Divinity and I just couldn't make it through.
Couldn't make it through.
3 times, and this was our first try, and we're like, no, we're gonna
Yeah,
make it.
we're
We're gonna
like,
make it through
we are
AR, and then we'll decide.
We're gonna stay.
And I was really stuck thinking, you know, at the end of AR, I was sold, and now with Heavensward, I'm sold.
Yeah. Yeah, no, similarly, I feel like the more I play this game, the more it grows on me. It's like every single day I just become more enveloped in it and more excited to come back and learn more about what's going to happen next in the story, what kind of really amazing dungeon we're going to unlock next,
Yes.
like what the next trial will look like. Like I literally, even the events, like the seasonal
fun,
events
yeah.
and everything, they're
And again,
so
a lot of them are
fun.
throwbacks to like other things.
Yeah, the throwbacks don't necessarily like resonate with them as much as J-Rocks because I didn't, you know, have that previous experience. But as discovering it as something new, it's literally unwrapping a present every day. Like I get to find new characters to interact with and all sorts of new types of stories, new dungeons. It's just every single day I'm more excited to come and play it the next day.
Absolutely, yeah, I'm absolutely loving it, and you know, glad we stuck it out, and
too.
I can't wait to see what Stormblood brings for us, because that's next.
Yeah. And I know we kept hearing that when we gave up a couple of times, we kept hearing that this game is so popular with so many people. So I'm so excited to be on that side of the line now, where like I've learned why everyone is so excited about it and so attached to it, and I'm excited to be enjoying the game alongside of all of you.
Absolutely. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. These are our thoughts on Heavensward. We'll be posting our thoughts on the next expansions. We're just starting Stormblood now. So if you'd like to follow along, stop by our Twitch channel, JRX26 at twitch.tv.
Come hang out with us.
And I'll be posting the updates on the YouTube as well as guides and reviews and other stuff all about it. So, guys, thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next one.